Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing? I'm okay. Um, oh, we're having a cold front coming in, and it makes my joints hurt, but I'm okay. I know everybody's tired of the coronavirus. I'm just gonna say one thing. I was watching a video that Rachel Daly Hug posted, and one of her subs left a comment that I thought was just wonderful. The lady, I don't know what her name is, but her channel name is Lost on Land Again. And she had the most positive thought about this whole coronavirus thing that I have heard. She said, I was bored and freaked out by having to stay home at first, but then I realized I'm not stuck at home. I'm safe at home. I like that. Today I was thinking about, about 2 months ago, I was asking you guys, how do we figure out which toilet paper is cheapest? And now none of us care about the price. We just want some toilet paper. I'm good on toilet paper, but I just happen to think of that. Nobody right now is trying to figure out which one is cheapest. I still haven't found my YouTube book with the questions in it. And I don't remember who asked me this, but somebody asked me if I worked at a school library or a public library. I worked at a public library, a good-sized one. I worked there 20 years, and 18 of those years I was the storytime lady, and I worked in the youth department, helped kids find books. I would go to schools and do book talks, and at Christmas and Halloween we would take children's books, like a children's Christmas book, and we would act it out in a skit. Oh my gosh, that was the most fun thing, because we got really silly. It was so fun. And we had a huge meeting room. We could hold about 250 people in there. So we sent letters to all the schools and invited the younger, like 3rd grade and under, to come out, and they did. We would do it at Christmas. We'd do it for 2 weeks, and we would have somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 total come. We just had the best time. That was Christmas for me, was getting to do the Christmas skits. I'm not a real big fan of Halloween, but those skits were fun too. But anyway, that's what I did. I helped plan summer reading program. Mostly the best part was just helping kids find a book to get them hooked on reading. Everybody's a reader. You just have to find that one book that grabs you and makes you want to read, and read another one and read another one. Best job in the world. It's the only job I ever wanted. I had other jobs. When I was 6 and got my first library card, and I don't even know how that happened, my mom and dad didn't take me places. I went with them lots of places, like the laundromat and the grocery store and, things. But as far as taking me someplace that I wanted to go, I didn't even know that could happen. And my parents were not readers. I have no idea how I got a library card. Back then, they didn't do it through the schools like they do now. It's just a big mystery to me how I got a library card. But I did. It was orange cardboard. They weren't laminated back then. It was orange cardboard. And I carried that thing in my hand and checked out so many books. It just got soft like cotton. I could check out 3 books at a time. And we didn't have a car, so we walked everywhere. And I would walk to the library and back by myself. Oh my gosh, if my grandkids wanted to walk out of my sight, I would have a cow, but I walked all over the place. But anyway, the library was just magical to me because they had the shiniest floors. I had I had never seen floors like that, and they had this huge um, plant. In the pot and the plant itself together was probably 5 feet tall. I think it was called a rubber plant because I remember looking in the, glancing in the dirt as I passed looking for rubber bands. I don't know if it was a rubber plant or why I thought that, but I was actually scared of that thing. We didn't have house plants at my home, and I think that's probably the first house plant I ever saw, any kind of plant inside a building. But I remember the shiny floors and that big plant, and the checkout desk was, the top was wooden, and it was just smooth. It had just been rubbed smooth. I remember liking the feel of that wood. The librarian's name was Mrs. Wignall. I was terrified of her. I was terrified of everything. I wish I never spoke a word to her. I know I didn't. I was an extremely shy child, extremely shy. And if I was told it once, I was told a million times. Besides, Moses was slow, but he was old. I was also told children are to be seen and not heard. So I didn't talk to anybody. But anyway, not too many years ago, I realized I should have written her a letter and tell her how much I enjoyed the library and how she made it a nice place to visit. Even if I didn't talk to her, I thought she was beautiful. Her hair was always fixed pretty, and she always had on jewelry and pretty clothes. I thought she was something. But anyway, from the day I first went into a library, that was the only place I ever wanted to be. The only place I ever wanted to work. And by some miracle, I got a job at the library. And it was one of the biggest blessings of my life because I loved every day of work. I was the kind of person on the weekends I'd say, oh, when is Monday going to get here so I can go to work? I mean, I really did. I loved working there. And I was really good at what I did. Honestly, I was really good. I'm not just being bragging. And after I had done that job for 18 years, suddenly the library director, in her 5-year plan, was that all people working in the children's department, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess there was like 12 of us between the main library and the branches. They all needed to be degreed professionals. They needed to have a degree. Well, I didn't have a degree. I went to college at night when I could, but raising 4 kids and going to school was really hard on me. And then I didn't know I suffered with depression at the time. I didn't understand that's what it was. But this one semester, I was taking freshman comp 2, and the whole entire semester was going over Death of a Salesman. Tearing that play apart. That was so depressing. I had to drop out. I could not take it. But anyway, I didn't have a degree, and by the time that happened, my kids were grown, and I was working at least 1 or 2 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. There was no time for me to go to school. And that just crushed me. That was just a horrible blow. And the library director, she's a sweet woman. I really liked her. And she told me, Carol, it's not personal. well, it was personal to me. It made me think of that line in the movie, You've Got Mail, when Tom Hanks' company is trying to close down her bookstore, and she said, it's personal to me. That's how I felt. But anyway, you know, all things work out for good. If I hadn't had to give up that job and go work at the circulation desk at the library, it would have been, I think, impossible for me to give my job up. But because I had to, because I had this breakdown, I had to retire. I was suddenly available after about a year. I had to have about a year of recovery, but I then could start babysitting my 2 youngest grandkids. And at first I only did 2 hours a day, and my daughter Casey did 2 hours a day. And then gradually their mom increased her hours at work, and we increased our babysitting hours. Even now, the last psychiatrist I had before this one told me that she didn't want me to babysit any more than 4 hours. But I did, and I'm doing fine. Those kids are a biggest blessing to me, and getting to help raise them is a big blessing. But anyway, the library was my favorite job, only place I ever wanted to work, and I was lucky enough to work there. I guess that's about all I want to say about that. It was a great experience. I just loved it. And everybody should have a job where you just think, oh, Monday's coming, I'm going to get to go to work. You know, it was great. Well, anyway, it's Good Friday. Hope you have a blessed Good Friday. And I hope you have a wonderful Easter. I'll talk to you before Easter, though. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, guys, let me know what's up with you. Hope you're doing okay. Remember, you're not stuck at home. You're safe at home. Talk to you later. Bye.